I love anime. I've been watching anime since I was 5 years old, and I became obsessed with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Now, 17 years later, my love has grown exponentially. Now I love all sorts of anime, from Dragon Ball to Your Lie in April. Anime has changed so much, and so have I. From me being embarrassed and anime feeling niche, to now seeing it mainstream is just weird to me. 5 years ago, I felt like the only person I knew who watched anime consistently. Now I see people like my younger brother ask me to borrow my Crunchyroll account and talk to an Attack on Titan. This world is wild, man. My journey as an anime fan is something that I want to chronicle now. I have a lot of thoughts and things I want to say as my first video on this channel. Like a lot of kids growing up, I was obsessed with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon as a child. After I played Fire Red for the first time, my journey as a nerd began right there. I was obsessed and would just play non-stop every day. All my friends back then were the same too. I got around Gen 3 and was obsessed with watching Ash attempt to be the Hoenn champion and the Battle Frontier Master every day. The same applies to Yu-Gi-Oh! I got around the time with GX and was given a crap ton of cards from a family friend. Yugi and Jane's journeys were always so cool to me. To me back then, those shows were never really anime, but just kid shows, you know? That didn't stay with me even when I learned about other anime from one of my closest friends. It wasn't until I really started getting close to this friend that everything changed. One day, while scrolling through channels, I saw Nicktoons having a Dragon Ball Z movie marathon. My best friend at the time was obsessed with DBZ and would call himself Gohan and his younger brother Goten. We were just kids though, so don't cringe too much. I decided, why not give this a shot, since my friends would never stop talking about it. I tuned into the middle of the Fusion Reborn movie, and I was instantly hooked. This was the coolest shit I've ever seen. I saw this Goku and Vegeta guy my friend told me about completely kicking this guy's butt. It was just so awesome to my 10-year-old self. I then saw an ad for the Broly movie that was airing the next day, and I had to watch it. This hulking monstrosity was just wrecking people to this rock music. It was just so awesome. I became such a hype man. I became a Broly simp for a little bit, just gonna be honest. I then got more into the story by playing Budokai Tenkaichi 2, which my friend bought from our local closing Blockbuster. It was the Wii version, it was so scratched up and it barely worked, but we played the heck out of that every day. It was so good that I had to buy it for myself. I played that game and started watching Dragon Ball Kai whenever it aired on Nicktoons, and from that day on, I became a DBZ simp. The wallpaper on my iPod was Goku. I would pretend to go Super Saiyan with my friend and do fake Kamehamehas all the time. For a period of time, all I watched was DBZ and Yu-Gi-Oh! No other show mattered to me but those. This is my anime origin story. As I grew older and got into 8th grade, I began to become more curious about what other anime was like. All I knew was Dragon Ball Z and Yu-Gi-Oh! And those were awesome to me. There had to be other great shows out there then, right? My adventure in the broader anime world started one summer night in 2014. My old friend and I decided it would be funny to watch this weird show called Girls Bravo on Netflix. We found the name silly and thought it'd be a good time. But we were not ready, as this what we came to find out was called an ecchi show, which meant tits and girls were everywhere. Our middle school minds were blown since we had never seen actual boobs before. We watched one episode together and just had a great time laughing. However, once he left, I still wanted to watch more. This silly show had caught my interest. Not for any other reason. I mean, plus seeing boobs is nice. I watched all of it and loved it. It was so ridiculous and funny, I couldn't help but laugh at it. I then watched another show called Rosario Plus Vampire, which is another harem show. And then dipped my feet into manga and read this popular series called One Piece at my library. I was amazed at how different anime could be. I went from a crazy ecchi to a monster harem show, and then to peak fiction. Don't argue with me. Anime was so cool to me. That scene in One Piece where Nami is crying and begs Luffy for help is got one of my favorite scenes of all time. That was the first time I really cried reading or watching anime. The stories that this medium could tell was amazing, and I wanted more. By the time I hit high school, I was a full-blown weeb. I bought DBZ shirts, and I was watching something new every other week. This is also when I watched Sword Art Online and thought it was the greatest thing ever for like way too long. Obviously, my opinion has changed. The biggest change when I was a freshman was that now I was alone in my anime loving. All my closest friends I used to watch I'm obsessed with either moved away or just didn't talk anymore. I had nobody to talk about these amazing shows I was watching and reading. I was alone. That last sentence pretty much would describe most of my anime journey. Me enjoying it alone in my room and sharing my love by watching YouTube videos on my favorite shows. I loved anime to death, but I felt insecure about showing that love to others out of fear and judgment, since I felt like I was the only one who really enjoyed this stuff. But over time, I started to meet people who did love anime I could share it with. They were closet weebs, but still, every time I talked about my favorite shows to them, I loved it. Anime has also always been super personal for me, so talking with others has always been a big deal to me. I became known at school as the weeb because I was super open with my love for anime over time. My game day tradition in high school, when I played basketball, was always wear a DBZ shirt underneath my dress shirt and showed up post game. I always just got a kick out of that. Being an anime fan at this point was now a part of my identity and was something I knew I would always be. For me, the day my dad passed away when I was a senior in high school was the day I began viewing everything in my life differently. Life had taken on a new meaning to me, and I viewed media with a much more emotional view. Human emotion suffering was something I became much more acutely aware of, especially the value of life. It was at this time that I watched the perfect anime for how I was feeling at this time. Your Lie in April. I started watching this just days before my dad died, and it just hit me. The message of grieving, overcoming it, and becoming your true self was something I just really needed to hear. To this day, episode 21 still gets me tearing up every time I see it. I even began viewing moments like Goku's sacrifice with a different life. Anime was there for me when I really needed it, and I'm so happy about that. Graduating high school, moving on to college, anime just helped me ground me in those turbulent years. Watching Attack on Titan and My Hero every week just gave me a quick escape and just reminded me of the best person I can be. Anime has just now inspired me to be a better person. It's this last statement I just said that really defines what anime means to me now. When I watch anime, I seek out the deep or true messages the authors try and convey. Well, when they are there at least. I love good stories and love ones that can pull my heartstrings anyway. I just love anime. Anime is in a weird spot for me now. What was once so personal and niche to me is now everywhere. Tons of people I knew rejected anime growing up are now embracing it. Anime is sort of cool now, I think. Pro athletes and kids have anime characters with their profile pics. Big companies like Bleacher Report and ESPN make reference to it all the time in their social media posts. Celebrities like Michael B. Jordan and Myles Garrett gush about their love for anime when they can. Anime like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto is everywhere, and I feel weird about it. I just want to say first, before I go into this, I am super happy other people can enjoy anime. I am not trying to gatekeep any show at all. The more people that support the things I love, the better. Anime was just always something so personal to me. Something I felt alone in enjoying. I was pretty much the only person I directly knew who enjoyed it. I could talk about my love of showing with people, but I find it hard to talk about romance anime or dramas I'm enjoying. I wonder if, as anime gets more and more popular, the more niche genres become more mainstream. Like your typical drama shows you hear about, like the Euphoria hype going on right now. Are we going to talk about some anime dramas like that someday? Regardless of my personal gripes, I am so happy with where anime is right now compared to where I started. We are getting consistently good shows every season, with huge blockbusters like Attack on Titan making that one day of the week just amazing. The future of anime is bright, and I am excited to see where this journey will take me.